Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have got Kaitlyn Rhoades. She is a former ballerina turned Pilates instructor, wellness entrepreneur, and founder of Roads to Wellness, a San Francisco based wellness center and online platform. And we'll learn from her practical strategies from her journey as a ballerina turned entrepreneur, including how to make Pilates and healthy habits accessible to everyone. Welcome to the show, Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Kaitlyn. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can build a sustainable wellness routine. We'll talk about all this. But before that, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, Kaitlyn, so that audience knows who they are listening to.
Of course. So even though I'm based in San Francisco, I actually grew up in a really small town outside of Detroit, Michigan. And through that, I had an amazing opportunity at a young age to do ballet. And along with ballet, I was doing Pilates to help with injury prevention and to help me become a stronger dancer. Fast forward a lot of years later, I had so many amazing opportunities to dance around the US and meet some amazing people, but I experienced so much burnout and all of a sudden found that I loved going to physical therapy and Pilates way more than ballet. And I decided to switch gears around the age of 23 and moved to San Francisco. I moved to San Francisco because it was a place I had never been to. I had not, my family, we vacationed maybe down up in Michigan or down south, but we've never really made it to the West Coast. And it was something different. It was something new. And I knew I just wanted to go and try it. When I landed in San Francisco, I was immersed in there's so much fitness. There's so much out here. But everything was really intimidating. And as a person who has done fitness technically her whole life, I felt that we were missing a huge component. We were missing a huge mark here. That if I was intimidated as somebody that knows the body, knows injuries, knows how to move, how could we get other people moving? And that's when I decided to open up my own studio in the Bay Area here. And it was an amazing, amazing experience because I wanted to take that intimidation factor out. I wanted to make sure people knew that they could come in and they could be safe. If you were a beginner, we were going to walk you through those steps because Pilates is intricate. Fitness is intricate. We don't want you to injure yourself. We want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel comfortable in your body. And you have to create a safe environment to do that. You have to create a community. And that was my driving force, was if my family could come in and take class, or if the people I know around the US could come and take class, I built the business I wanted to build. When the pandemic hit, we had to switch gears. And I saw this as a huge opportunity to then take my vision I had for, honestly, this little big city that I live in San Francisco. And I could build it so that everybody across the world could do it, which was awesome because my clients started moving all over. So I built Zoom platforms. I was able to teach online, but then people could then take what we used to do in San Francisco with them and travel all over with it. So that was the little start of it and turning into the bigger picture that I have now.
Absolutely. So, what did your journey to becoming an entrepreneur taught you, Kaitlyn? Because initially you built it, and then that was the time it needs a lot of perseverance, resilience, and then pandemic. At that time, you had to go online, and again rebuild it, go back. You returning to San Francisco again and opening Roads to Wellness. Tell us about this part. What all these things teach you about entrepreneurship?
You have to believe in yourself. No one can teach you that. You can learn business, You can learn numbers, but if you don't believe in yourself, you won't do it. You have to know every day when you wake up that this is what you're supposed to do. Because especially during COVID, I mean, I looked at something I built when I was 26 from absolutely nothing, honestly, just truly piles of student loan debt. And in 2020, that was the hardest thing to watch because in 2020, everything was paid off. And I was ready to back off of a 7-day schedule to a 5-day schedule. The studio itself was running. I was finally able to take a small step back to, again, grow it, make it bigger. And to see it just honestly kind of burn right in front of you. And it was that moment of, I can't let this go. How do I fix this? How quick can I fix it? And even in the struggle of that, of, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? And then there was this moment, I meditate every morning, truly, and it's what keeps me very grounded. It was just this moment of, the only person that's going to make this work is me. So I'm either going all in one more time, or I have to figure out what I have to do next, because it's something that I truly believe in. And when I moved back to the Bay Area, it was just this moment of, I need to build it. I need to build it stronger. I need to build it resilient, the resilience against things like this that could happen, but also be confident and comfortable in myself that blips happen, things happen, and it's about being able to evolve and change.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kaitlyn. So, in terms of business, one is any other business, and this is wellness business.
Yeah.
How different is it? How should people understand about this wellness business?
Yeah.
Is it much difficult than other businesses, or is it less difficult than other businesses?
I don't know if I could scale anything as in not difficult to difficult. I think at the end of the day, you could probably find some difficult parts in it. The reason I wanted to do wellness versus open a Pilates studio again, there's this one part of me that even said, like, I did it already. I had group classes. I did the private training. I did that model already. I wanted to grow the model again for the community, because as we grow and change, we need more than just Pilates. We need more than just fitness. I wanted to build that center where people could have other modalities intertwined in this, where we have infrared saunas. I have a juice bar. I'm looking at other modalities to bring in. We're doing sound bath, like, again, other modalities. And I did not want to be restricted to just one thing. I wanted to bring the community that I built, the community that lifts me up, a bigger picture of wellness. And I just saw more opportunity in that. And I honestly found a lot more joy in it, because as soon as I got back, everyone was waiting for me to go big and go on big group classes. And it just was this feeling of, no, I did it already. It's time to do something bigger.
Absolutely, time to do something bigger. So, is this the future of wellness now, Kaitlyn?
I think so.
How does it look?
I think the future of wellness is broad in the aspect of, we have a lot of people with a lot of different modalities. I think the future is vitality, as well as, I feel like it's a common word, of biohacking in here, of how, and longevity. Those are those key components that I feel like we're looking for now, as well as in the fitness industry. I think we're starting to back away ever so slightly of that rough, tough workout. And we're looking for, how do we prevent injuries? How do we prevent pain? How do we have exercise without pain? There's a lot of things going on now, especially with all of us at desks. Our necks hurt, our backs hurt, or a lot of us were former athletes, our knees and our hips hurt. So how do we build that sustainable longevity style of living that's going to sustain us into our 80s, into our 90s. And I plan on living all the way past that. So how do we make that happen?
Absolutely. So, in terms of a common person, how are they looking at, fitness? What is it that they want? Do they all want, infrared saunas, juice bar, and more? How would you like to tell them about fitness? One is the higher end part, which is fine. A lot of I want to understand that market. What does this market look like? People want fitness, or they want much more beyond that?
I think they want much more beyond that. I think they deserve more than that. I think all of us deserve more than that. I think we take for granted moving our body. And I also think that we need that education around other things, again, like infrared sauna, like juicing, like having a very healthy diet. I think it needs to become more of a common practice. Reason being, again, there's so much power in your brain, so much power through your body that we need to keep it on the right track, if that makes sense.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And so you talk also about accessible fitness. Now,
Yes.
how what do you mean by that? And will it become accessible fitness for everyone?
Yes. So I feel that sometimes, especially as we age, we wake up with some aches and pains. And it's really hard sometimes if you want to start a fitness journey, you're like, oh, I'd love to, but my back just really hurts today. Or, oh, I have a lot of neck tension. Planks really hurt. Or when I do overhead shoulder presses, those really hurt. So I wanted to take the limitations away with that. And that's when I created my online platform. And I put a lot of corrective exercise models in there. Now, corrective exercise, honestly, is kind of a fancy phrase for little exercises to help get you out of pain, or if something is misaligned, to help you get back to proper alignment. I didn't want anybody to have a limitation. Even in some of my workouts, I have beginner level workouts and I have those pain-free courses. But even if you go to even my higher intense exercise, and that's even, again, low impact, I'm constantly giving feedback of, if you are experiencing this pain doing this, I want you to do this instead. I'm always going to give you an option so that you do not feel limited by what you have coming in today. And that's where I feel like we should be going in the fitness industry, in the health and wellness industry, is let's meet in the middle. Everybody waking up might not have a ton of energy. They might not feel in perfect condition, but what do we have in front of us? And how do we make that person feel better and feel stronger today?
Absolutely. And what about injury prevention? Means, where does this idea come about? And injury prevention, if you can explain that a bit better.
Yeah, so injury prevention comes with repetitive movement. As a dancer, repetitive movement for me could have been I was dancing on my toes. So my ankles and my knees and my hips really took a beating. Somebody that might be working with their hands or with their shoulders, say they're hammering a lot, they're going to have a lot of tension on one shoulder. Hairstylists, they are blow drying with one hand. So injury prevention in those sort of senses of, again, repetitive movement is making sure that one side that's overworked is stretched so that it can relax some of those muscles that are working too hard. And then on the other side, kind of getting it caught up, saying, okay, this side's doing a little bit more work. Let's make sure we even the body out a little bit so that you feel somewhat in balance, because you can start to feel a little lopsided after a while.
Absolutely. And what about, you talk about real movement. What is this real movement about? People keep on moving all the time. But what is this real movement?
Real movement, to me, you should be able to sit down on the floor and get back up. If you have kids, you should be able to pick your kids up. If you are cooking, you should be able to lift a huge pot up to the stove. These are movements we do every day, especially my amazing populations that travel a lot. You should be able to lift your suitcase over to the overhead bin container. These are everyday movements that we take for granted that some people can't do. And I want to make sure that you can always be able to do those so that you can keep living your life.
Absolutely. So, what is the best way to do that? Not everyone will come to your roads to wellness or be aware about it. Maybe from watching this episode, they will be, but
Yeah.
not everyone will come to be able to take all this, knowledge directly from you. But from this episode, what would you like to tell them? How do they get, sustainable wellness for themselves in a healthy way every day?
Some of those movements are truly practice. Sometimes getting down on the ground and getting right back up, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge if you cannot do that. My advice would be to keep practicing, as well as proper hip stretching, really work on your hip mobility. There's tons of resources out there for hip mobility, as well as shoulder mobility and shoulder strength as well. So there is a lot out there. We are privileged with the internet. But again, practice as well as know your body, get into your body, and really see where, again, you might have a limitation. And if you need to reach out to a professional, don't be scared to do that. We all have to at some point.
Absolutely. If I understand, you also have an app, Pilates app. Yeah, tell us a bit about that.
So during the pandemic, I started filming all these videos and I started teaching these classes online. And I have my platform online, but it'd be easier to access if it was in an app. So last year, as I was building the business back up, I decided to move all of that content to an app. And that app is the company name, Rhoades to Wellness. And also you will find a bunch of really nice tasting recipes, as well as different programs to meet you where you're at in your journey.
Absolutely. So what is your, next step or vision for Roads to Wellness from San Francisco to other places and maybe one day to India also?
Absolutely. So my next goal truly is to build the space I have at the moment to be a bigger space so I could have other wellness modalities in it. My second step I would like to do is to get the app into that global perspective, into more people's hands. And that's my big goal this year, is to get more people to join the app and to, again, get more people moving, to get people feeling good in their body. My very, very big picture would be to have a retreat center where people could come to me when they're feeling burnt out or when they're feeling just stuck, and they can come find that calm, find that peace, and again, get them feeling better so that they can go out and do some good in the world. So that's the big, big picture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the way you are moving, that picture looks like to be not very far off in the horizon. I'm sure you will be somebody who has seen, difficult times and good times, and then again, building the business back up. It needs a lot of resilience, a lot of courage, and that you have already shown. And that is why a lot of people, I'm sure, would want to connect with you, learn more about you, learn more from you about fitness and also about Pilates and all about sustainable wellness. What is the best way for them to do so, Kaitlyn?
That would be to head to the app at Rhoades to Wellness. You can also follow us on Instagram as well, and you can send a direct message that way.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.